am so excited and honored to be with you. I believe that when you walk with purpose, you collide with destiny. So how do we do that? What does that mean? What is the what? Well, that when whatever you do in the universe to work on you, to change you, you have an impact on those around you. So I want to talk about that in my 18 minutes of time. Before I do that, I always like to start doing whatever I do by offering a meditation. I meditate publicly in the form of music because music is the most parsimonious language we have. Parsimony is one of those PhD words that simply means it says the most in the least amount of space. The only other language that does it better is Ebonics. Because it be that way sometime. I've been singing this song for 10 years. It talks about in order to change the world, we have to change ourselves. The problem with that is that we take ourselves for granted. Now, I fly a lot. I travel all over the country, all over the world, and I'm on a plane all the time. And for a while, I was thinking nothing of flying until I was on a plane and the engine was struck by lightning. That will make you grateful. The pilot did a brilliant job of calming everybody down. He said, "Don't worry, look out the window. You see all those ambulances there for you." It happened to be the time of year where I do my annual fast. I fast every year for 40 days, 40 nights. I don't eat or anything. I drink water and juice. It is grueling. I do not recommend it. I usually cheat on the 29th day. I no longer call it cheating. I call it communion. And last year I knew I was wrong because I was in the kitchen going, "Jesus, your body needs butter." See, I shared that with one of my friends who was like, "That is not funny. I can't believe you're making fun of the Holy Communion." I said, "You never fasted, have you?" Because on the 5th day, you see Jesus and he's holding a biscuit. Anyway, sometimes we're so spiritually minded, we're not earthly good. Anyway, I'm on this fast. The plane's going down. I was on the 32nd day of the fast. You would think at this heightened spiritual, mental, emotional state, I'd call everyone together to pray. At the very least, we collectively hum. 32 days of fasting, my first thought was not, "Let us pray." My first thought was, I should have ate. Life goes by so quickly. And in those moments of coulda, woulda, shouldas, you realize that it's not about you or how much you can affect the world or what you can do for somebody else. It's what you need to do for yourself. Because when we work on ourselves, we really are working on everybody else. We cannot change the world we see till change begins with you and me. We change the world around us when the change begins with you. Patiently, courageously, be the change you wish to see. So let the change begin. Let the change begin. Let the change begin within. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, brilliant psychologist by the name of Naim Akbar says we have to ask ourselves on a daily basis, why me here now? Why me here now? Why this time? Why? What am I here to do? Why me here now? It's a question of purpose. Your purpose is not your job, it is your calling. And this question is a philosophical question. But philosophy drove me nuts. I took it in college as a foreign language requirement. Walked into the classroom, the professor held up the textbook. He said, "Is this book real? Is it really real? How do we know that it's real?" I said, "Excuse me, I know it's real because I paid $59.95 for it." He said, "Very good, let's go with that feeling. What evidence do we have that you actually bought the book?" I said, "You trying to say I stole it?" I took the book and I threw it at him. I looked at him and said, "Did you feel that?" "How do I know that you felt that?" "Come on, let's go with this feeling." If finding your purpose is finding your place to serve, you can't just ask about it. You have to get up and do something about it. Your purpose is not your job, it is your calling. I had the most tremendous example of this in my life. I had an amazing teacher who did an amazing thing. She graded my homework. That's her job. Yeah, but it was amazing because I balled up the homework and threw it at her. I'm a kid I'm the sixth of 7 children from a single-headed household, 7 children, cycles of poverty, abuse, alcoholism, and go figure, I had an attitude. Bigger the insecurity, the bigger the attitude. The amazing thing about this woman, she found my voice, Karen Denton. She got me on track to go to college, helped me fill out applications, took them to the counselor, another teacher. The teacher said, hey, if by chance you get accepted to college, don't unpack because they'll send you home. The counselor said, we don't have time to waste on this kid. She's got bad grades, she's got a bad attitude, she's from a bad family. But the beautiful thing about purpose is that when you become purpose-filled and passionate about what you do, it ignites the purpose in somebody else. She takes the application to another counselor at a completely different school who not only helps me send those off, but she fills out one without telling me and sends it off to this private school in Florida. That's the school that accepts me. They call and say, we decided to accept you. It's a private institution. You don't have enough money to go here. How do you think you can pay? I was thinking, I didn't apply. But I didn't say that because I was not the polished woman you see before you today. I said, you want me at that school, you better find me some money. Fortunately for me, I'm talking to somebody in purpose. They do their job in spite of the circumstances. She takes the application over to the financial aid director. She says, look, we got a kid here with the lowest SAT score we've ever accepted. She didn't become a real student until the end of her junior year, and then her grades shot off. We need to figure out what it was that ignited this passion for learning. The financial aid director starts laughing. She says, you're not gonna believe this. This morning I got a call from this millionaire guy, Terry Evenson. He only wanted to help somebody like that, but until this second, we hadn't accepted anybody. This is why I believe that when you walk with purpose, you collide with destiny. You don't know when that moment may be. It's critical that you find your purpose and live it every moment of your being. So I go to college, I graduate with honors, I win the President's Cup for leadership. I call my family, I say, hey, I'm going to graduate school. They said, we thought you already graduated. I didn't know 9 hours was a full load at the master's level, so I took 18. That's how I finished my master's in 2 semesters, maintained a 4.0, and got my PhD at 26. Had I listened to people who said, you can't do this, you don't belong in this room, I wouldn't be here, but you wouldn't either. Everybody here, everybody listening, we've all been told at some time, you can't do this. But when it has to do with your purpose, you must do this. It is critical. My purpose ignites into destiny years later when I was praying for love. I felt that it was time for someone to come into my life and love me unconditionally. As I was praying, and old folks say, be careful what you ask for because you might get it. As I was praying, my mother called and said my sister's 3 children were in danger of going into foster care. They'd all been born crack addicted. I was going to have to take them. I hung up and called a friend and said, I was praying for love. I'm getting children. What happened? She said, well, God, you need to be more specific. I prayed again, hey God, specifically a man. You know what happens when you do a good job with something? People don't take responsibility away, they give you more. That's how I ended up with 5 children. People just started dropping them off. And they smelled the other kids on me. It's taken me 18 years now to figure out love is not what I get, it is what I give. My success is not what I have. It's in the impression and the impact that I leave on a daily basis. What you do and how you do it will impact the rest of the universe if you do it with love. My children have taught me to look at the world differently through the eyes of diversity. Diversity is not about kumbaya, can't we all get along? Diversity is about critical thinking, doing the negation of the negation of the negation of the negation until you can get to the best of all possible worlds. You can't do critical thinking with one thought. My mama said it this way, inbreeding does not give birth to genius. The more we experience, the more we evolve. My youngest son's diagnosed as autistic. We found out he's just odd. He didn't talk until he was 6. It was right after we saw The Lion King. Now he speaks with the voice of James Earl Jones. I'm not kidding. He's like, cereal, mother. He chases a ceiling fan and I let him. Because that way I know where he is. One day he's chasing the ceiling fan. He stopped. He says, "Mother, do you think at this time, this place, this moment, there's another planet where people are doing what we're doing at this time, this place, this moment?" I said, "Oh my God, he's contemplating a parallel universe and chasing the ceiling fan." How many great ideas come from thinking differently? Thinking about it a different way, wrapping your mind around something. How many come from folks who we said, "You're not the right one. You don't fit the bill"? Those are the ones that live on. Those are the ones that we have to capture. So while I know that this is going out to tons and tons of people, in this room are some very special folks. They're folks who do their job with purpose. Even though in the midst of doing what they do, they stop and they make sure that young folks coming along have a place, have a voice, can find out what they need to do and be by sharing themselves. And really the gap between knowledge and wisdom is the ability to teach it to somebody else. I got a new cell phone because my old one was a rotary. My daughter was like, "You need a BlackBerry." I'm like, "My last name is Berry. I am a BlackBerry." I can't program the thing. She takes it and goes, "Ugh." I said, "Wow, you're the first generation to know more than your parents." She goes, "That's right." I go, "Yeah, but you don't have as much wisdom. When you can teach me what you know, then you can grab the pebble from my hand and it is time for you to leave." The gap between knowledge and wisdom is your ability to teach it, to pass it on to somebody else. My mother passed on to me a gift to those of you here who are doing so much for everybody else. On the day she died, she said, "I have something to give you." I said, "Mom, you're not going anywhere." She was 87 years old. She'd been sick for 2 years. She said, "I'm tired. It's time for me to go." I said, "Stop it. You're not going anywhere." She said, "Oh, yeah." She said, "I figured out what to give you." She said, "You know, I don't have any money. You've taken care of me most of my life. And all the good jewelry I have you gave me, I don't think it'd be right to give it back." I said, "Yes, it would." She said, "I know what you need, and when you go out and you speak to those who do more for others than they do for themselves, you share this with them." I'm like, what is she talking about? She said, "I'm going to take all of the generational baggage, the hurt and the shame, the stuff that happened to me, my mother, her mother before. I'm taking it with me to the other side. I'm going to leave you with a clean slate. When you talk to people who do more for others than they do for themselves, let them know that every day they get a clean slate. We get to start new." I want to share with you a passage from a book that I wrote. It's a book that traces my family and the family who owned the plantation that they lived on during slavery. Turns out the man who owned the plantation was the southernmost conductor of the Underground Railroad. I always love coming to Canada because when I come up, I think about that Underground Railroad, how they went from the southern part of Delaware up into Canada, into freedom. And I think about that and contemplate that in first class. Swing low, sweet chariot, wash my hands. But I think about what they went through, and we don't look at that period of time properly. We always look through the eyes of the slaveholders. We don't look through the eyes of the people who actually created the peace. And it was little things, little acts. If I take one step of peace, I'm creating peace in the universe. And so in this passage from that book, The Ties That Bind, the ancestors speak to us from that period of time to now. I can just imagine what they must have seen. They saw us texting. They saw us at a TEDx. They saw us coming together around ideas that were bigger than ourselves, understanding that if we could wrap our mind around it and internalize it, make it our own, then we were changing the world. We have the capability to destroy the earth. The only thing that's going to keep us from doing that is us. That I take it upon myself to be better than I am in this moment, each moment, to be more me more often. And when I do that, I've already sent out a vibration to make a difference. And then when I connect with you, and connect with you, and I connect with you as sisters and brothers, wow, we're making a difference. We're changing things. We're turning back the tide of destruction. How cool is this moment? They say to us, my children of grace, we have to start this thing over. Y'all done traded one slavery for another when you turn your back on wisdom. We're not free to do what we want to do. We're free to do what we're supposed to do. Take care of the children and the old folks. Just because they don't come from you don't mean they ain't yours. Learn your history. Love, forgive, but never forget. Stand ground because a bigger change than I've seen is coming, but you're the beginning of that change. Be careful. Change never come without struggle, and joy never come without pain. In your lifetime, you'll see the struggle, but you have each other to get through it. Don't let the little things keep you from doing the big ones. Others will try to stop you, but they can't because this thing is already moving. Everybody who looks like you is not on your side, and everybody who don't ain't against you. Talk to God and never stop loving. The more I write, the more I see, the more I see, the more I know everything's going to be okay. I can feel it. I can feel it right now. So I'll leave these pages with you. It's my time now, and I feel that too. Learn from the past that's yours. Take the gift of what I've seen and use it for love. Here's the recipe of life, the road to freedom. Freedom ain't just about living free. It's about being free, then turning around and set somebody else free. The only problem is this: the chains on the wrist ain't as strong as the ones on the mind. The only thing that you can do with that is learn to love and strive to love, because babies, we ain't got time for nothing else. Thank you for who you are, for what you do, and for finding your purpose in the universe, because it speaks volumes and it brings about the change that we need to see. Thank you, thank you, thank you.